Because I started dedicating these things to people because I think that's really funny, I'm dedicating this episode to my brother-in-law, Brian. Brian's a computer programmer or something like that and doesn't know anything about any of this, nor does he really care. But because of the subject matter and because I'm married to his wife's sister, I thought that this little tool that I'm going to show you guys how to use might be something handy to him. It's blowing, the wind's blowing really hard outside, and so I'm making these. And some people call these shackles, some people call them sidelines. The guy that taught me how to make them, his name was Ramon Ramirez. He says, we don't break horses, we fix them. He called them esposas, which is the Spanish word for wife and the Spanish word for handcuffs. And so these ones are made to put on a colt. This would go on the left front. This would go on the left hind, or the right. Doesn't matter. Or you can go crossways. And you go like this, pick up their foot, put it in, got them, both sides. That's how we do it. And it's just a different kind of hobble, a different way to control their feet. There's guys, especially a lot of the Texas cowboys, and here in Arizona too, they'll make them where they're only about that long, that much in between them. And when you catch a cow and have to tie it down, then you can put these on it, and that cow will still be there when you come back, whether it's a front to a hind foot or both hind feet or both front feet, anyway like that. Also, I've in the past, and the reason Ramon showed me how to do this in the first place was to slow a steer down when you're teaching a young horse how to rope. A lot of people ace those steers anymore when they want to slow a steer down and rope off of it. I like to put these on just because they're cheaper than drugs, cheaper than ace, and that'll slow those roping steers down quite a little bit, and you can start them young horses on it. So this is how we do it. This is just an old wore out nylon rope. I just start undoing it, and I kind of untwist it as I go. Fray it a little bit. Makes it easier to braid. Those braids stay together better. And I tend to be a little Scotch and never give myself enough rope, so I've gotten in the habit of giving myself more than I need. So I do 2 hands. That's enough. So there's my 4 strands of nylon rope. That's a core. I'm going to end up burning that off later, so I just don't worry about it. You can do it with 3 strands, or if by chance you found a 5-strand rope somewhere, you could do it that way. So now I'm just going to do a 4-strand flat braid. All right, this is a 4-strand flat braid. It's a pretty easy braid. I'm going to try to show you it's really not all that different than a 3-strand, which all you ladies know. I'll be untwisting these a little bit as I go, just to get it to feel right in my fingers. You got to do this quite a little bit before you figure out how you really want them to feel. So I take my outside on the left, over the first one I come to, under, over the last one on the right. Then take that last one, go over the middle, under the left. That one that just went over, go under, over on the right. That one's all set to go, over the middle, under. So I check here. That's going to make a loop about that big. I probably don't want any bigger than that. I just want it big enough to go around this rope. If I make it real big, it'll come loose as whatever animal I've got sidelined works around, it'll come loose. Obviously, it's possible for me to get it too tight to where it's not functioning, but that hole's about the diameter of this rope. So that's what I've got there. And I just took and made a loop in my rope there, like that. Grab my hemostats. I try to run it right through this 4 strands, so I try to run it right in the middle between 2 of them. This is the part where you get to cussing. Cussing at these things.
And I suppose he's going to cuss me later for these photo hemostats.
No, these are my hemostats that are in my stitching animals back together box. Anybody that doesn't hear that said my esposa, who runs the camera, said my esposa is going to start cussing at me later because I stole her hemostats. And I'm arguing with her that no, these are my very own hemostats, which I probably did steal from you at one point. So you just pull all those tight.
Why are they called hemostats?
I don't have any idea. It's probably a Latin word of some kind. So there I've got it to where that it's got a pretty good little amount of tension in there. It's not going to work loose. So this knot, this is not the knot that Ramon showed me. Kenny Lee showed me this knot. He called it a Turk's head. It's not a Turk's head, but that's what he called it. I call it a Rosebud. That's what a lot of other people call it. Pick one of these strands. You can do this with any number, including 2. Just pick a strand. You go under. Take the next strand. Go under. So these ones I've already done are now in the middle. Take the next strand. Go under. It's a real simple knot. My very last strand, I go under the loop that I made with my first strand. And then you don't want to just reef it down tight. You want to evenly pull. All of these until you have it tight. You two are menaces. Va.
Okay.
And you end up with that pretty little knot. I do it twice because I like to do it twice. Out of a typical run-of-the-mill team rope and rope, you can get 4 of these that are Colt length, which Colt length is about 5.5 feet, I should think. That would be 6 feet plus a little, just because I got ape arms. So I measure them out to about here-ish. So I don't know, a little over 5 feet. So there you go. There you've got one side of the shackle, and then you just measure it out to about there, and then I give it another hand. I'd cut the rope here, do the exact same thing on the other side, and when I'm all said and done, this is what I'm going to have right here, where I can shackle a horse. I can take one of those Colts and saddle them, put shackles on them, turn them out off on a little grass. They can walk around a little bit, but they can't really get away. When it's all said and done, they're going to have a really good understanding of where their feet go. And I do this a lot, of where their feet go and how to think about how to move their feet. They have to move a hind foot to move a front foot, then they have to move a front foot to move a hind foot. They have to do it in a combination. It's going to make them way, way, way better to shoe. If you've got something that's tough to get on, you can put these on them and get on and off, on and off, on and off. things like that. I know a lot of guys, including myself, I've done it, that'll put the first ride on them this way because they can't blow up and buck or get scared and run off. They kind of have to get along, and that's what we do. So all I've got left to do is go to the shop, heat up the forge, get a nail real hot, and just go right across there and burn that all off to where it's smooth, and of course burn that off. And then I'm done. And then the last thing I'll do is I will take, because this'll, if you were doing it for a cow or something, you don't care. But on a colt, this will burn their feet, burn their ankles if they get to fighting on it very much. So I will just take, and it's going to need to be about that big. So size of a Copenhagen cam plus a little. It's going to need to be about that big on most horses. That's as big as it's ever going to be. I'll just take a bunch of duct tape, and I'll duct tape all around here. Obviously you widen it out and make it easier. You mark your spot and just duct tape it all around there. And then if they go to tugging on that and fighting it at all, it's not going to burn their feet. So I've got these yet to burn and the duct tape, and then I'm all done. And I'll have me a bunch of handcuffs. Don't do drugs.